Hello, 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 everybody. Hello, Facebook user. Let's go. That's right. Let us know who you are and where you're calling from. Hi, I'm Janay, author of I Love My Curls, bestseller on Amazon. And tonight I am speaking with Carla E. Kelly, founder and CEO of Black Indigo Naturals. Tonight,
hello, everybody.
We are going to be talking about good and bad hair and this wonderful, wonderful I Love My Curls box that we have decided to do together. Hey, Sharia, how are you tonight? Hey, she said, hey, y'all, hey, how you doing? So, did you see that opening, Carla?
Oh, one of my favorite scenes in any movie I've ever seen. I love that scene.
It takes you back to 1988. Can you believe that School Days was made all the way back in 1988, and we are still talking about this thing called hair?
But that's what art does. Art tells stories that stay relevant, you know?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. When was the first time that you discovered this thing called good hair versus bad hair, and what side of the gamut did you feel you fit?
Well, you know, being a medium to light skin, wintertime I'm kind of bright. I get a little tanny in the summer. I've always had coarse hair. My hair has always been coarse. Before I knew what 4C was, I've always been that, right? And being Black in the 80s, for sure, the imagery in the media was constantly favoring one girl with one type of aesthetic versus another. So I think, I don't know necessarily when I heard the phrase good hair as an open discussion, but I had heard so-and-so got that good hair.
Right.
They got that good hair. Or you need to do something about that kitchen. So it was always, if the curl pattern was loose and the hair was wavy, then that was a good thing. But if, my little kitchen needed to be done about what grew out of my head. So I heard it in conversation with my elders, and I didn't understand the roots of that till many, many years later. Mm-hmm. But I think School Days was the first time I had ever seen, because I was only 9, right? That was the first time I had ever really seen colorism laid out in a way that a girl my age could see the evidence of it when she looked around the media. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It does. And I think, you know what? It never, like you said, to your point, it never was a conversation had by the elders. It's just something that you felt. Me being a darker skinned girl, I always felt it in some aspects it was an issue. Because I did have fairer skinned cousins, and it seemed to be, they were the pretty ones. Their hair is this and their hair is that. And it sent a message. I don't think I necessarily understood it, but I did know that somehow that must be better than what this is.
Yeah, they got more. My hair is so pretty. It's like the adjectives that were used to describe them were different than the adjectives used to describe your hair.
Exactly. And I also remember, things being said like the kitchen. Oh, I got to get that kitchen. And
that part.
Now you look presentable. What does that mean? When you're a little one, you just think it's something that's being done, and you don't always understand the context of it. But I think as I got older, and maybe about 4th, 5th grade, I really think that's when I began to realize what it was. It wasn't just about hair, it was about the skin tone, because growing up in Philly, at that time, we had Lisa and Colt Jam, like the Puerto Rican girls. I mean, they was popping. They were
ready to say that again.
So I didn't look like that. And that is all that the young men wanted, and that is the aesthetic that was the acceptable one. If you was too Black, jump back.
Okay. And I was in the Bronx, where Lisa and them was from. So when I tell you that the Latinas was having a day in the 80s, they was getting a life, they was getting all the things. I remember that. I remember it very, very well. And it continued into high school. I know the Latina girls, I mean, love to my sisters,
Yes.
but I noticed that the boys would go a little bit more goo goo gaga.
Yes.
You know, for the ooh what did Wu-Tang call them? Butter pecan Puerto Rican?
But yeah, Butter
Ricans?
Pecan Puerto Ricans. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, did that affect your self-esteem?
Sure.
You know, how did that how did you, deal with that?
It created a conflict, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because my hair did not like the perm. And my scalp was sensitive. So I would get this sore right here at the nape, like right here where the base of your skull meets your neck. Every time I knew the perm I knew the perm had to come out when that part started burning and I couldn't take it anymore.
Yes.
So my hair would never get as straight as other kids whose scalp wasn't as sensitive. So I always hated the perm.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was a necessary evil to get the styles that were in.
Exactly.
Right? But I think but as high school went along, I started getting more obsessed with braids. I started liking braided styles because Poetic Justice came out when I was in high school. Josie was dancing on The Living Color with her braids. So braids in the late 90s, like the mid to late 90s, like 95-ish, 94-ish, that became the move. It wasn't about the perm. It was about having braids to go out your ponytail like
Right.
So I think that's gave me freedom to start to get away from those perms. And I got my last perm in, I want to say August of 1996, right before college orientation.
Right. Okay.
So my hair was laid. I still have that photo. My hair had the bangs and my hair was laid. She had to rinse all of that. But in October of freshman year, I cut all my hair off.
Okay.
And I went to 1 inch.
Oh, okay. So you went there. You did that big chop.
Because it was something, it looked like I was breaking free of something. I don't know. I felt like being in college, I left all of those teasing people and all of those comments. I left all of that back in the Bronx. Right? So being in college, and I mean, I'm meeting all these people who walk around, they got locks, the Roots was coming in, and there was a whole crew that called themselves the Tree Family. Like, there was Philly, mid-90s was black as fuck.
Blackity black.
It was the blackity blackest. You could not tell me Philadelphia in 1996 was not the chocolatiest place on earth.
It was Chocolate City. It definitely was.
And there was all manner of black people, and they was coming with their style. So I'm just like, And I don't know. Something said, Carla, another life is waiting for you on the other side. Get this perm off your head.
Okay. Exactly. And I think probably about high school, maybe about 9th grade was the first time I think I was on my journey then, but I still was getting that. I was still getting them that relaxer. But T-Boz was the first time that I said, "Oh, I really like her hair. It was short."
That was me and Tony Braxton.
Yep. And that's exactly the two people who I just adore their hairstyle. So that was the first time that I just cut it all off, right? And then I dyed it, and then I kind of let it grow back. I still didn't learn my lesson about getting relaxers, and I was still dealing with the breakage. I still was dealing with the perms and the relaxer, the burning your scalp, but I just wanted to be cute because I could not get that kitchen laid and that tapered look.
Right. No matter how much Let's Jam you put down on your little side sweep, you can still see the waves, girl.
I'm gonna tell you how bone straight I used to want my hair. I used to want my hair so bone straight that I would leave it in no matter how bad it burned. Then my hair would be like matted into like the scabs. So that is how messed up I was. Girl. Just to be cute. When they say beauty is pain back then, that was the truth for me.
I honor that, and only because I did the Tony Braxton cut, but because it was Tony Braxton / Nia Long, right?
Okay.
So I did that look in '95 with the taper down and like the little. But I had to get braids to let my hair grow back. So that was when I started to be like, But I was like, I don't ever want to perm my hair again, but let me do it one more time so I can let that thing go. But you know what I forgot to mention? There was a girl in high school. We're still friends to this day. Her name is Tanu. She was the first girl I had ever seen with locks down her back.
Oh.
And it was nothing like, and they were all the way down her back. Like she would wear it up in a ponytail. And I was like, when I go to college, I'm doing that. I told her. I was like, when I go to college, I'm doing that. She was like, oh, really? My dad was like, you should get locks too, because he got them when I was 11. Okay. I was like, I'm going to get them in college. He didn't believe me. But then I met Tanu like 4 years later, and I saw hers. I was like, yeah.
That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do.
But I knew high school wasn't the place for it, because I would have had to go down to and already I had BD Buckshot nightmares. So I knew high school wasn't the place for that.
Yeah.
But I went to college with intent at some point of having locks. I just didn't know how it was going to shake out.
Exactly. Let's go to some of these comments here, Carla. We have Felicia. She says, yes, they wanted all the exotic girls. Didn't they? It did not matter what color you were. If you were black, you better jump back, as I said earlier.
Yes.
We have Amanda here. She said, just give me 1 second here.
Let's see here.
Let me get some of these comments.
It's a necessary conversation for sure. And I think that part of where we are right now is freeing each other up to get into this discussion so our daughters won't have this issue, you know?
Exactly.
I did it. Amanda chopped hers when she got pregnant with her daughter to model self-love.
Oh, okay. You got to, because children, you know, they become what they live. They become what they live. And, you know, it was a struggle for me. And one of the reasons why I decided, you know what, enough is enough. No more wigs, no more, you know, weaves, no more relaxers, because I had to set the example. How can I be telling my daughter, you know, love yourself, love your hair in its natural state, but yet I'm doing all these things to alter the natural curl pattern of my hair. Enough was enough. And then not only that, Carla, it became a health issue. I seriously think when I did discover that I had fibroids, getting them relaxers, put all that stuff that I was doing for all of those years, came back, you know, to you know, hunt me. And that's real. That's something that it's not just about the beauty. This is a health thing as well.
I had fibroids too. I had surgery to get them removed back in 2007. But severe periods and female problems ran in my family. So yeah, it's interesting. But my grandmother had them, but she had a partial hysterectomy back in those days. My mom, she had fibroids, but she was able to manage hers through the birth control situation and having kids. She was able to be okay. And me, I had to get surgery, but I still have my uterus. So it's interesting, like what I did senior year, and I didn't know 20 years later it would be so relevant. Right. My senior project at Temple University, my senior project at Temple University was talking about Black women's health.
Oh, okay.
And I did some research, and part of my hypothesis was that there's a link between the cosmetics that we were putting, many of them did, until they stopped doing so, right? That there was a link between the dyes and the perms and the chemicals and stuff that we were putting on our brains, and those rapid case of a lot of Black women between the ages of 50 and 70 were coming down with dementia. So I felt like if you're putting all of these chemicals, and I started really looking into them, I'm like, they're right above your brain.
Exactly.
I wonder, is it causing premature organ decay?
I believe it is, because I remember having a discussion with one of my doctors. She was a sister, thank goodness, because a lot of the outcry and the symptoms that I was experiencing with my fibroids once I discovered, I better go to the doctor. There's something about this is not right. Yeah. She said she showed me a study, and she had some images, and there's actually like in certain parts of the brain, like kind of like a white matter or a residue that forms, like you said, forms on the brain, and it's just, causing havoc. And it was something that I never really thought about, what do we, the things that we use on our hair, what types of chemicals are in these products that we use every day. So let's get to some of these comments. Someone said going natural back then was revolutionary. It sure was. It sure was.
It was expensive. Either you did it yourself or you paid through the fucking nose. I wish we had YouTube. Sorry to go off, but It was so hard. I started my locks myself. I had to figure it out on my own. Because these so-called natural hair care salons was like $85 for a consult in the
Wow.
mid-90s.
Yeah.
I couldn't afford it with my summer job. I had to figure
Exactly.
out how to do it on my own. I think it was intentionally, we were trying to be dissuaded from going natural. That's why it was so hard it was so expensive.
Mm-hmm.
It was cost prohibitive. Whereas a perm was $8.99 at the drugstore. And boom.
Right. Yeah, that was the easy access. Yeah, the fix was in, because I think, you know, back then, you know, I felt like it was a Black Power movement. Do you remember all the hip hop groups? I mean, everyone was wearing natural hair. You know, we
head
got
wraps,
these head wraps. You know, and I remember that
store. We was living.
Exactly, and it was such a great time to be Black. You know, but still. A lot of us still was, you know, rocking the straight hairstyle.
Listen,
roller coaster.
I'm gonna say this: straight hair is just as curly hair is just as versatile as straight hair if you decide you want your hair to be versatile, right? And there's a whole set of sisters who don't use chemical straighteners. They just do things like silk press, right?
Yeah.
And like an occasional press and curl, and then when their hair goes back to the natural, they leave it that way. I think they're still showing love to their hair as it grows, and they're doing the versatility thing. I think there's a new gray space now.
Yeah.
I think not every sister who's rocking straight hair has a perm now, whereas before, that was the only way to do it. I think that the heat related techniques have gotten better. So not everybody who's got straight hair now has perms.
Yeah. And, you know, and when I go into a lot of these hair groups, that is a big argument. There is a big, you know, argument that if you alter your hair in any way, you are not a natural. So it's become this thing. If you're straightening your hair, you're coloring your hair, you know, you're wearing wigs, but you know, a lot of people wear wigs, a lot of people wear weaves, but their hair is natural underneath it. You know, they call it protective styles.
They are protective styles.
They are.
So them sisters' hair is corn braided down. After a while, the wigs get bigger because their hair just keeps growing and growing and growing.
Right.
I think that's them loving on their hair, and they're treating hair like fashion. So what's on top, they're wearing them like hats. I got a friend, Ivy. She is like crown bald, like down to like baby hair bald, right? She has a collection of wigs that is out of this world. She loves her head. She loves her baldness. So the wigs for her are just fun. It's playtime, you know? See, no chemicals equals natural. I agree.
I believe that. I believe that, but I don't. I sometimes cringe though at people that kind of judge, because I think this is a journey. Yeah, it's definitely a journey, and I think it's very personal, and we're all going to get to that place where we can maybe give up the wigs. You know, sometimes it's a job thing. You know, maybe they're working in an environment where, hey, you know, it's they have to do it. They have to conform. They have to straighten their hair. They have to wear these protective styles, wigs, weaves to, I guess, be accepted, move up the ladder. But
you know, I don't know, Janay, not to cut you off, but I think I'm at the place now where I kind of want to ask us why.
Exactly.
Maybe 10 years ago, but watching how the so-called fashion world has done their damnedest to mimic everything flavored like Black. Do what you want to do because you want to.
Exactly.
But if homegirl goes to Jamaica and comes back with some corn braids after her little, she's getting a compliment. You're going to get a reprimand. There's something wrong with that. Like, do you need to be in a company that has a problem with you as you are, however you present, when they don't show the same problems to your white counterparts? I feel like there's a thin line between putting up with shit because you have to and going, all right, well, I may as well just put up with this shit because I don't know because it's the devil I know.
Exactly. Because I remember, working in human resources, and Black women's hair always was a point of discussion. If it was wearing box braids, if you were wearing your hair natural. I remember my last particular job. They would not send Black girls with natural hair to the executive floor. My director would tell me that these girls' hair was unkempt. Really? Bitch, I was like, really, this is what she would say, that their hair was unkempt and she could not send them to the executive floor because their hair did not present as professional. And I'm like, really? You are a director and this is what you're coming to me as a Black woman and telling me this? So we would have a lot of back and forth and a lot of discussions. And I have to remind her what you just said is absolutely wrong. But these women would go and alter their hair, though. They wanted to keep that job so bad.
Wait, but Janay, again, survive. You're right. Mm-hmm. And we are put in this position where we're constantly being forced to choose between ourselves and our livelihood, right? Amanda just said we need to normalize natural hair in professional environments.
Right.
I feel like women who make it into the C-suite or make it into the executive space, I believe they've got the responsibility to shed whatever fucking play along, get along garb they had to get to that point.
Once you get there,
because now you have power.
Exactly. Now you made it. Now, only thing you can say to me, if I'm not performing, then that's the only thing you can get me on. My hair should not matter. If I'm coming to the job, it should not matter if my hair is purple, if it's kinky, if
they don't bother if my hair is purple.
Exactly. It should not matter. And it's a shame that we are the only group of people that seem to have to deal with this. And this is happening globally, and having to enact laws like the Crown Act just to say, hey, it's not right, to discriminate, on people for their hair. Let's go to these comments. Amanda here says, F that. I'm not changing my hair for it. I would not either, Amanda. I'm right there with you.
Nah, either you want 100% of me or you don't.
Yeah,
I think once you get to a certain place as a professional, it's okay to say that shit. Either you want me as I am or you don't want me here. It's okay. I'll go somewhere else with my skills. It's fine.
Exactly. January Shannon says, I think it's more internal. There are so many women that are scared of their natural hair. It is.
Let's pause there. Let's get into that internalized self-hatred that we don't want to cop to. And how sometimes we can take it out on other people.
We do.
I think she's pointing at something. It's real.
Exactly. It is real. And I think sometimes we have to sit down and we have to check ourselves, because I know that's exactly what I had to do. Because when I first did my initial big chop, I felt so masculine. And I had to say, why do I feel masculine?
It was hard for me too. Yes. Yeah. I didn't feel feminine at first.
For like a guy, because society says a woman should, if I didn't have my earrings and makeup, I had a little hoodie on.
All of a sudden, it became lipstick. Now we got earrings on. Now we got on something a little tighter.
Yeah,
but booty poke out so they know what that thing do.
But to the rest of the world, they're not used to that. To us, it's normal. But to the rest of the world, they don't get it. They just see this little short, little bald head person running around. They're just going to assume no woman cuts her hair this short. Oh. But this is what we do to free ourselves of all that mess that we've done to our hair and for it to grow. And people don't realize that. So I used to be very particular. First it was the hair thing. Now I'm getting right there, but now I feel like I got to put on the makeup. I got to put on the big old earrings. I had to dress the part because I didn't want to get, be out here being mistaken for a dude, because my hair was short. Not that I look like one, but I guess at a first glance, you got a hoodie and you dress down. Oh, okay. Sir, no, I'm not a sir.
Funny shit, though. I actually identify as bi, right? And I have 4 brothers, and I've never been fragile. I'm feminine, but I'm not fragile and extra girly, right? So it was weird to me to navigate that space because I'm like, no, I paint my nail, because I also had to confront that gender binary. Navigating relationships as well, because people make so many assumptions about you. because
Exactly.
of your hair. I literally just wanted to get that perm off my head by any means necessary. I didn't give a shit. I always planned to get to locks, but that perm had to come off. I
Right.
couldn't wait. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I remember being on the train. I was on the Broad Street line on my way back to campus, and it was his brother. He had to be about maybe his 40s, you know, when them play, we say that, Chuck, when them kind of dudes, right? And he said to me, he was like, you know, you'll be really pretty if you got you some real hair.
Oh, wait.
Bitch.
So he just gave you his opinion of what he thought about your hair in its natural state and it being short. Girl, that orange line is something else.
Solicited.
Oh, well, I remember, going for the big chop at Temple. And I never forget, I used to work in the copy center. So I would meet all types of people coming in and out of the copy center, fellow students, faculty, what have you. And I decided to grow my hair back. And when it got to a certain length, I did relax it again. I was going back and forth, but I never
let that crack go, girl.
Girl, I couldn't let the crack go.
You're like,
I was addicted to that crack. And I never forget, this white girl came in and she just could not believe that my hair was like this a couple months ago. And now I didn't straighten it out. So, my hair is stretched and it got to hang time. She just swore that I had a wig on. So I was just like, whoa, this world is crazy. They really don't understand our hair. They just, they really don't get it. Marita says, oh, you want to talk about roots? That self-hate is deep. It is deep.
Dude. And it was given to us as a means of control. Back during the Black codes, Black women were not allowed to walk with their hair uncovered. We had to put it away. So, yeah, like.
Do you think people are scared of our hair? Do you think it makes them feel intimidated?
I don't understand it.
Does it take them back to, maybe like the Black Panthers? So they think black hair means, when we wear hair natural, it's militancy. And
I don't even think it's that deep. I think it's simple fucking envy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go. Because everybody trying to look like us, huh?
Because that's right. That's right. If I never saw those still photos of these almost albino platinum blonde white dudes with faux locks walking down the runway for Jean Paul Gaultier or whomever the hell that was, maybe I doubt this. It's envy.
Isn't it funny? Because I was just reading an article. Do you understand that now they're even getting melanin shots? Not only are they pumping their lips, tanning, they're getting melanin shots to darken their skin.
It's worth it's worth an exorbitant amount of money on the black market per gram. Yeah, it's a thing.
And we wonder why we just disappearing without a trace. Girl.
I'm gonna open my fan slowly so that
right.
The truthiness just gets to sit in the moment, and I'm gonna close my fan. Because you're right.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think they just meant, that's why I think this box is so important. I think like January has a quote, like if you go 2 down, how are we gonna be children remembering the pain? I remember it viscerally.
I remember the pain. I remember thinking that I was prettier when my hair was straightened. I remember feeling out of place because I grew up in the Midwest, and so I was surrounded, before I moved to Philly, I was surrounded, by
Becky the corn-fed.
Exactly. And my hair didn't do that. And you would get all these questions when you come in with cornrows and Afro puffs, girl. It was just,
how do you wash your hair?
Exactly. Or the one I used to hate, and to this day, it still triggers the hell out of me when I remember they used to touch your hair, and I guess they assumed we all wore grease, and then they do this thing, girl. Just make you want to punch the air. Like I to this day.
I'm bring my pulse down. I got that PTSD high blood pressure just now. Whoa, come back.
And I think these are some of the things that all, black girls or the beads. My mom used to do the hair and the beads, and that was my favorite hairstyle for the summer.
Hairs.
But they just, they just couldn't understand. There was no black girl joy for me living in the in the Midwest at
That
all.
could have been easy. But you know what? The hood teachers used to, but like white adults are weird. They don't know not to touch black adults' hair.
Mhm.
So white teachers would have this weird, odd zoo-like fascination over us black girls for our hair, our names as they mispronounce them. Like a
Mhm.
lot of that microaggression I found came from white adult women.
Yeah,
Like even though I
absolutely.
had braids at not my old school, my new school where I'm at, one
Mhm.
of my coworkers walked by and touched my braids in the dining commons, but they walked by so fast I couldn't go crazy.
As they should.
You know what I did, right? I fixed that ass. I was on a conference call with a whole bunch of colleagues, and I talked about the utter and complete disrespect that some black women have to deal with respect to people wanting to think that they can touch our hair when they can't.
Exactly. It's to me, Carla, I'm going to be honest with you. I really think that should be considered a form of harassment in the workplace. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
I do,
But you know
because it
what?
makes you feel very uncomfortable, and they don't do it to one another, and I don't feel that it's something that we should have to deal with when we go to our places of work. I just don't.
So then let's pivot, right? Now that we all know as black women that there's so many things we had to unlearn, I just want to give you a shout out for creating a box that's literally made with the plan of helping our babies learn that love
Exactly.
as young as possible. Because I've been thinking about this since you invited me to collaborate with you. There's a generational curse that we're breaking here by making it possible for parents to help their kids love their curls. Like,
Exactly.
we're changing the narrative for the girls that basically we're doing what we wish was done for us before we had to figure it out for ourselves.
Hmm. And it's so true, and I think that is why I was inspired to write the book. I did not want it to just be a storybook. I wanted it to educate, because far too often we do not learn about the hair that grows from our scalp until we are adults. We know nothing. We know absolutely nothing. And all of those negative messages that we've received along the way, be it from our parents, from outside society, even with what our culture tells us is beautiful, we've already internalized that, and we struggle. And one of the things that I always talk to people about is understanding where that started for you, because I think as we all talked about our stories, while we kept pivoting back and forth between being natural and not being natural and going back to the perms, is because we didn't deal with our stuff. I think you have to get rid of it and unpack it. And I think if we teach our young ones, maybe between birth to 5, we learn languages between those periods. Why can't we begin to let them know that their hair is beautiful?
Right.
They should love themselves. They should, practice self-care, and that's their hair, that's their skin, that's loving themselves. And I think it's very important. And I think I'm very proud that we have this box to help them do that.
Right. I think
Absolutely.
it's great because how many parents, if they had more tools available to themselves,
Mm-hmm.
they would just be doing it. So I think there's an empowerment to this for the young person and for the parent.
Exactly. Because I think for the most part that, once again, kids, become what they live. If your parents are not living what they're telling you, you're going to turn around and you're going to just do whatever the hell you want to do. You're going to struggle until that one day you just get it. And we don't need that. We don't need people living this struggle life, having struggle self-esteem. You need to know, I'm Black. I'm proud to be Black. There is nothing wrong with the way that God made me.
And
My hair,
you're gonna
my
get
skin.
me just as I am, and you're gonna love it, and you're welcome.
Exactly. So, in the box, we do have the bamboo comb and brush set. We have your hair tea, and let's show them. Yep, and the in your butter, and we're gonna have a I Love My Curls T-shirt and a book. Okay, so that is what's going to be in the I Love My Curls box. You can pre-order right now at ilovemycurlsbox.com. Go ahead and check it out. You know, you have daughters, you have nieces, you have girlfriends with little girls, for yourself. Go and check this box out. I'm telling you all, it is dope, 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 dope. Hi, Felicia.
Hey. Actually, you know what? There are actually a couple people on the broadcast who have used some of these products. Like Felicia Deutsch, actually, she got a jar of the hair butter for her daughter. Or was it the hair tea? She got one of the products that are in this bundle for her daughter because her daughter has this rich, lush hair. And mama needed support letting it do its thing. You know what I mean? So it's like, it works for all hair types. If your hair is curly, the hair tea, it doesn't leave any buildup. It moisturizes and it literally loosens. You see the curl pattern just loosen up.
Absolutely.
You can work through it and then literally goes back to the way it was. You know, the hair butter, it's all natural. There's no kind of petroleum or anything like that. Because like we were talking about, our skin and our body should not be absorbing these unhealthy chemicals. If we're not doing that as adults, why would we want that for our kids, you know?
Exactly.
So I really think you picked based on how to be healthy and affirmative. And I really, really appreciate the vision, you know? Oh, somebody asked about the price.
Let me see. Let me go here. Trying to pull this up.
Yes, Felicia. I love the pictures that you sent me. I'm so happy.
Yep. But you know, it's just a mission that is a big mission. You know, to on the journey to self-love and to re-educate people, you know, about this hair thing. And I use your products and I love them. My nails grow, my hair grow, my daughter's hair, it loves it. It makes those curls pop. It keeps that hair healthy. Look at your hair. It's like every time I see you, it gets longer and longer.
Yeah, I grew this. This literally is hair potion, hair butter, and I wash my hair with my good all over black soap. Like I wash my hair in a way that doesn't strip the natural oils. Or I'll alternate between a black soap wash, or I'll do like a regular, like a baking soda. I'll make a shampoo out of baking soda.
Yeah.
Because that's also really good for natural hair as far as like cleansing your scalp without over stripping it. And so I do that at home, literally Arm & Hammer and water in a bowl.
A little water. I do that with my locks and soak it.
Yeah.
And soak it with a little bit of, sometimes too, I'll use, not all the time because it can be a little bit drying, but the mom's apple cider vinegar. I add a little bit of that in there sometimes to help with my hair. But my locks loves your hair tea. I mean, it loves it. I was just telling you, I was in the supermarket and someone was standing behind me and she just told me how delicious that my hair smells. So I love it. Hi Xavier. Does anyone have any questions for me and Carla? Any questions, people, before we get out of here?
We were asked about the price of the box. So talk about the value of that.
Yeah. So the price of the box is $39. Okay. And like once again, you'll get a t-shirt, a book, you get Carla's hair tea and your butter. What am I missing? I think I left out in the t-shirt.
The t-shirt, the book, the hair love bundle, which is what I'm calling it, just to be about it. The hair love bundle. T-shirt, book, and the tools. Listen, bamboo. Okay, here's why this bamboo comb and brush set is the move. Bamboo, for some reason, that makes the best combs when it comes to helping detangle your hair. So the bamboo comb and brush was selected to minimize the breakage at the end of your child's hair. And also, like, so when you moisten it, you can really use the bamboo comb to tangle out the big knots and the small ones. So choosing bamboo, because bamboo, for some reason, the static is reduced. And it actually goes through your hair much better. So each one of these tools was selected to make sure that we're protecting our ends and our edges. Like Black people hair, we got to think about moisture. We got to think about laying down the strands, protecting it from breakage. So part of that is using the right tools when you style. Like I cannot stress the quality of the bamboo brush and comb as being a part of your hair routine, it makes a huge
Definitely.
difference. So I'm glad you included that, because I
Mhm.
noticed I stopped losing so many ends once I switched to bamboo. I have a thick tooth bamboo comb and I have a fine tooth bamboo comb. That's what I
Exactly.
use for detangling, nothing else.
And you're seeing a lot of less breakage
Yes.
in your retaining length, more
Mhm.
length there. So yeah, definitely. So a lot of great goodies in there for everybody. You know, to love on yourself, to love on your hair, to love your curls, to love your skin.
Yeah.
So any closing thoughts for you, Carla, before we get out of here for the night?
Yes. The only good hair is the hair that's still on your head.
Okay.
Now, whether your hair is healthy or not is another question. Whether your hair is suffering from braid, like the condition of your hair, that's a different thing. But good hair is the hair on your head. As long as it's not in the bowl when you wash, that hair is amazing. And I really challenge Black people, since we're reclaiming so much shit, let's reclaim our pride and our celebratory nature. Like, our hair defies gravity until it's too long and falls over. Like, we are unique and special. So I think the idea of I love my curls, I loved the book so much because it wasn't like
Thank
my
you.
curls are great. It was like, no, I love
Love.
curls. And I think starting I love and celebration, I think they go hand in hand. You know what I mean? Like, good hair is the hair that's on your head, but how do you treat the hair? Because you can have hair, but treat it badly.
Exactly. And your hair will tell you if you're loving on it right or not. It's just like a flower. If you're not watering it, you're not caring for it, you're not nurturing it, it's going to die. Same thing with your hair. Now, Marita says, okay, so bamboo saves the ends. Tell me about the secrets of keeping those edges intact. Now, Rita, a lot of the reasons why we lose our edges is because of a lot of the styles that we love to wear, the tension takes those edges out. You know, we're in the age of baby hair. That will take your hair out. These lace fronts, you know, leave your edges alone. Leave them the way that God made them. Now, once in a while, you want to lay your hair, you know, your edges down to the gods, as I say, it's okay. But if you're doing that every day, or you're pulling your hair tight every day, or those cornrows under those wigs are just snatching the skin.
There's a name for it. There's actually a name for it. It's called traction alopecia. So,
Exactly.
so even guys, there was like how the straight backs was a really big thing in like the late 90s, early 2000s. A lot of the young brothers lost their hairlines because they were consistently having their hair pulled backwards. So what I would add to what Janay is saying, definitely reduce friction. So like I sleep with a bonnet. I walk around my house with a bonnet before it's time to come out. The elastic is over here on my forehead. So there's no friction at the front of my hairline, you know? So reducing friction is huge. Keeping your moisture quotient up is huge. Like my hair tea, I keep it in a spray bottle like this in my house. I
See, that's
literally
why they need that box. See?
whenever I feel like she needs a little quick little douse, she gets a little, what you call them? Because moist hair strands tend not to break. It's more flexible and pliable. So I would just add to what Janay was saying, reduce friction. And when you, like, if you tie your hair down, make sure that you have it on your forehead, not directly at the hairline. That way you're not creating friction. If you don't like to sleep with things on your head because you toss, a silk pillowcase will also do it. So a lot of times people lose their edges because of pull, aka traction, and also because of friction. Those are the two main contributors to edge loss. These are great. Any more questions? We could do this for a couple minutes.
Right. You know, but get that box. You see Carla pull that hair tea out and show her curls some love and get your box. That's exactly.
And it just absorbed. No build up.
January traction alopecia. Yeah, definitely. And then, you know, for those of us who get snow in the winter too, you know, you can tie a silk scarf underneath those hats and it helps with that, you know, with the friction as well on your edges. So the only thing
your wool hats, actually, great thing you said that. You can either do a scarf or you can turn your hats inside out and sew silk fabric into the lining of your hat to the edges. That's
Mm-hmm.
another way to do it. And then that silk will also add another layer of warmth.
Warmth.
So if
Mm-hmm.
you moisturize your hair, and then I did this with one of my old hats, you moisturize your hair and then you put the hat on, that silk will help your hair hold that moisture while you're out there in that cold. Because silk is actually a really great barrier against the cold. So
Oh,
that works as
mhm.
well.
Yeah, because my hair struggles in the winter with retaining moisture. I mean, ooh, summer it's perfect, but the winter, no, 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 no. But I think my closing thoughts would be, you know, becoming natural is a personal journey. I think it's like I made the point earlier, it's very important to understand where we are in that journey and what are these messages that have conditioned us not to love our hair. And it's okay along your journey to have a love and hate relationship. Know why? Because you are
Humans.
unlearning, a lot of these negative things that have been said to you and things that you've seen and things that you've experienced and you have to unlearn those things, but at the same time you're going to learn how beautiful it is the first time you see your natural curl pattern, how quickly your hair grows. Like
It's like Christmas
for me.
It was like Christmas when I finally realized that the natural curl pattern, mine looks like, all right, you know how like retractable pens? Okay,
Mhm.
so inside retractable pens, there's a spring. My curl pattern actually looks like the spring of a retractable pen.
Oh,
This is exactly what my curl pattern looks like. It looks like this.
beautiful.
Isn't that cool? But
Yeah.
a little bit smaller. But this is what my curl pattern looks like. When I discovered that, I was like, oh, wow. So
Yeah, and mine's is the same, it's the same way. Like I have so many, and most people do. You have more than one curl pattern. But it's so funny, to figure that out because I never knew that. I never realized that I had that many different types of curl patterns in my head. So, it's an interesting journey. You find out a lot about your hair. And it's a personal thing, no, just fall in love with your curls. You just have to unlearn exactly all those negative things that you've learned along the way. We have one more person saying that the longer my locks get, the more difficult it is to get them handled when showering or sleeping. I'm starting to experience that because my locks are getting longer as well. One of the things that I do is I pineapple my hair. I actually found a it's not really I don't know what you call it. It's not really a bonnet, but you kind of slide your locks through and there's a hole at the top and a drawstring and it's lined with satin to Carla's point.
yeah, I've seen those.
Yes, and it helps me maintain my hair. I wear it in the shower too because it keeps it up and it's not hanging down, getting wet, getting soap and things on it. So it's an awesome thing. Yeah, guys, you go ahead and pre-order your I Love My Curls box. Now,
Ooh, let's tell them about the flavors.
oh yeah, go ahead, Carla. Go ahead.
So yeah, we wanted to make something that could be like fun and have like the same spirit of I Love My Curls, the colorfulness. We've made some flavors. So there's exclusive flavors that are going to be in this curl box that will not be available on the regular Black Indigo Naturals website. So orchard, so it'll smell like fruity. We're going to have one that smells kind of wintry and cool, something that smells like the season of autumn, something that smells like tropical summer vacation kind of vibe, and something that kind of smells kind of foresty, rainy, trees kind of thing. So we have specific deluxe fragrances just for the I Love My Curls box because we want our kids to feel like they have something that's special just for them. So this box is exclusive on a couple levels. Sorry, everybody. Those flavors will not be available on regular Black Indigo Natural sites. We have like 15 other flavors for y'all, but those 5 are just going to be exclusive in the I Love My Curls box. So this is going to be an experience. We thought about everybody. So I was like, yeah, Janay and I actually spent time thinking about, what could it smell like that the kids would love? And
Exactly.
it's not gender specific. It's more seasonal, more
It is
of
very
a vibe.
Exactly. And it's I'm excited. We're gonna have some really awesome colors, because the kiddies love the colors, and adults too. Hey, I'm a kid at heart, so
Mhm.
it's gonna be awesome. So guys, please, please, please go to I Love My Curls box and go ahead and get your pre-orders on. Me and Carla are excited to see all the and hear the feedback from you all. I know that you are going to love it. We're working really hard on this, and it's just going to be awesome, guys.
So excited about
So
this.
excited. Well, I guess that concludes our talk for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll be talking to you later. Go ahead and get those viewers in.
And make sure you replay this, because there's tons of people who need to
Yeah.
know that this curl box exists for them and their little curly babies. Help a friend out. Put them
Mhm.
on to ilovemycurlsbox.com.
There you go. There you go. All right, people. We love you. Love your curls. And take care of each other. Be safe out there.
Bye
All
now.
righty. Bye-bye. Bye, Carla.
Bye, Janay.